As the title sponsor of National Customer Service Week, Robert Half is proud to celebrate the outstanding work customer service professionals perform each day. Robert Half is the first and largest specialized talent solutions firm. We help customer service professionals find great roles and connect companies with highly skilled talent to meet their business needs. We know how important customer service professionals are in driving businesses forward. To help support career growth, we'd like to share insights about in-demand skills top companies are looking for in customer service professionals.
Companies needed the right people and tools in place to succeed during the pandemic. And customer-facing employees really stepped into the spotlight. And we're seeing the momentum continue today. As they look to further improve the client experience and boost productivity, companies are increasing their investment in cutting-edge CRM and customer service solutions. And it's not just technology. Companies also are investing more in employee training and professional development programs for customer service managers and individual contributors. Some of the most in-demand skills our clients are requesting are bilingualism, business savvy, call center certifications and customer loyalty experience, interpersonal skills like empathy, adaptability, resourcefulness, and strategic thinking, and being adept with technology like Microsoft 365 and Google Sheets, plus software specific to customer service, including ticketing systems, help desk, data entry, analytics software, live chat, and CRM.
Customer service professionals have never been more essential for success. As we celebrate Customer Service Week, we recognize and thank you and your teams for your critical contributions all year round. For more insights, visit roberthalf.com.
Welcome to day 2 of National Customer Service Week. How are you celebrating? Did you remember to make your list of 10 things that make you happy? If you don't know what I'm talking about, I want you to go back and watch yesterday's session. Yesterday was all about self-care, protecting the magic. You are the magic, and you have to nurture the magic. I issued a 5-day self-care challenge to help nurture your magic. So again, go back and watch yesterday. If you missed it, download my checklist for the 5-day challenge. Moving into today's focus, you are going to learn that there are word choices that actually prime your customer to go over your head, asking for your supervisor or pushing back with you to get you to give them something more. I'll identify what those types of word choices are, and I'll give you options for confident, assertive statements that get the customer to not push back as much. The bottom line is you need to send the message that your word is the final answer and that it would simply be a waste of time to ask for anything else or to ask to talk to your supervisor. You are going to love today's session. You are going to walk away knowing how to communicate with more confidence and with more assertiveness so that customers take your word as the final word and that you don't accidentally, unintentionally come across as passive. I'm going to share with you 4 common mistakes I hear when I listen to phone calls with my clients. Before I do any workshop with a contact center or customer support group, I ask for a random sample of phone calls. I want to hear tone. I want to hear phrasing. I want to know what the team does well, and I want to spot opportunities to improve the customer experience, improve the ability of employees to get customers to accept their word as final. And one of the biggest mistakes I see is passive communication. Not only passive, but communication that primes customers to push back, to ask for more. Now, let me give you 4 examples of what not to do. I'll tell you what's wrong with each phrase and then give you a better option. The first big mistake I hear is, I don't think I can. Now, we say this clearly because we don't think we can do what the customer is asking. The problem with this statement is It sounds passive, and your customers will treat you like a doormat if they think you're passive. They're going to go right over your head. They're going to keep asking for more. So we don't want to give the impression with our words, with our tone, that we are passive. We want to be assertive. Look at an assertive option. We're unable to reinstate any license until all fees and penalties have been met. Look at the difference between the two statements. I don't think I can, passive. We're unable, okay, right out the door. Very clearly, we're unable to, and then you explain what you're not able to do. Customers are far more likely to accept your word as the final word when you are direct, when you are assertive. Now, tomorrow, I don't want you to miss tomorrow, we're going to talk about how to develop that assertive tone. But for today, we're working on the specific word choices. All right, let's look at a second phrase. We don't usually. Now, when we make a statement like this, it's because we are about to do something for the customer that goes above and beyond. Maybe we're going to go ahead and give them a credit that we don't do for everyone. Or maybe we are offering a generous discount when that is not the norm. It's okay for you to go above and beyond. You are empowered. You get to do that. But I want you to be very careful because today's exception becomes tomorrow's expectation. If we make an exception today and later the customer encounters a similar problem or the same problem, they're going to reach out and expect you to do the same thing. And maybe you cannot do that. Perhaps if you make an exception today, your customer is delighted. They tell other people or they post about what you've done on social media, which when other people hear or read the story and they encounter the same problem, they will have that expectation. So I want you to present any exceptions that you make carefully. Make the exception. That's great, but be careful. Here's a better way to say we don't usually. As an act of goodwill, because you've been a customer with us for 13 years, we can make a one-time blank. That is a much safer way to make an exception, and you're likely to get far less pushback when the situation happens again. All right, number 3, only a supervisor can. Now, I've heard this personally as a consumer, and I hear it often on phone calls, and I always call this out with agents. What is the problem? It's true. Only a supervisor can authorize that. The problem is this statement primes your customer to ask for a supervisor. Well, if only a supervisor can fix this, authorize this, then get me a supervisor. So we need to not plant the seed in the customer's mind that they should actually be talking to a supervisor. You're inviting escalation. I want you instead to assertively draw the line. Say something like, what I can do is. We want people to know that we're empowered. We'll help you. I'm not able to do what you're wanting, but I don't have to escalate you. I don't even have to suggest that anyone else can do something better. Another option, we're not able to compensate you in this manner because you blank. Failed to read the fine print, didn't use the product properly, or because it is outside of warranty. Give them an explanation. So not only a supervisor can, what I can do is, and you're going to be far more likely to get your customer to accept your word as final. All right, let's look at our final priming statement that will turn around. The most I'm allowed to authorize is $150. This is very similar to the former phrase. What you're doing here is you're priming the customer to say, oh, that's the most you're authorized. Then someone above you is authorized to do more. This is a personal example I had in a chat with a brand that you would all know if I called it out. I just made a large purchase of several items, and then 4 or 5 days later, those items were significantly slashed in price. And I could return them and rebuy what I needed, but the items were actually gifts for my mother that I'd already given to her in that 4 to 5 days of me receiving the gifts. And the chat agent said, well, the most I'm allowed to authorize is $150. Well, my natural response was, can you get me someone who can authorize higher? And you know what? They escalated me and I was able to get closer to what I wanted. I don't want you to be in that situation. This statement simply primes your customer to think of someone else who can offer more. When you make a statement that suggests that there is a limitation for you, customers automatically see a ceiling above you. So we're not going to do that. Try instead what an agent said to me just last week when I have an air purifier that suddenly stopped functioning and it's out of warranty. And I could not get it replaced. Obviously, it was a chip that needed to be replaced, and the company did not have that chip anywhere in its system. So they could not repair it. They could not replace the unit because, again, I'm out of warranty. I, as a consumer, pushed back. It was an expensive unit. Here's what the agent said to me firmly. We can take 30% off and no more. I can throw in a filter valued at $80. But no, we cannot offer more than 30% off. I didn't like what she said, but this was firm and it was final. I love that. As a trainer on de-escalation, I had to just sit back in respect. This was a phone call. I love that because my exact response was, can you give me more than 30%? We can take 30% off and no more. And she wasn't mean when she said it. I saw and felt her confidence and her finality. I can throw in a filter. It really helped that she was able to offer an add-in, and you may not always be able to do that, but if you can, just a good point here, offer that, and it makes it easier for your consumer to accept the offer that you are giving. But be firm, be final, like the lady that I spoke to last week. When your word choice is firm, confident, assertive, and final, your customers are far more likely to accept your word as the final word. Now, again, do not miss tomorrow because we're going to build on what we've talked about today. I'm going to help you master assertiveness by sharing with you my take on assertiveness, which is to say what you mean what you say, and never be mean when you say it. All right, before I let you go, we're going to take an action step. I want you to identify one phrase, one word choice that you use with your customers that you now know is passive. You now know is actually priming your customer to go over your head and ask for a supervisor or to push back. That's part one. Part two is I want you to reword that statement so that you sound more confident and assertive, so that you're talking in such a way that your customer is likely to accept your word as final. Do these things before you meet me here tomorrow. And one final thing, remember, you are the magic and we are protecting that magic. Yesterday, I gave you a 5-day self-care challenge, and that challenge for today is for you to dance like nobody is watching. I want you to do that before tomorrow. Have fun with this, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.